So for starters, welcome. So we are really excited to have you. This is our Regional Coaching Network meeting for September of 2023. In the discussion area, you should see a link to the slides. Please feel free to join us there. And you should see that attendance link as well. For our meeting today, we are going to try to tackle 5 different areas. It's really just 4. Get to know you, get to know the network a little bit. I'm going to talk a little bit about AI tips. I know we've spoken about that a little bit before, but there's some fun new things that have come out over the summer that I want to share with you. The girls here are going to focus on student-focused coaching, which will be really fun. And then we are hoping to open it up to you to have that networking time, because we know that that's really the piece of the puzzle that you come here for, is to talk to your fellow coaches. And then with whatever time we have left, we will wrap it up. So for starters, we will introduce ourselves. My name is Matthew Mays. I work here at the Stark County ESC. I do primarily the instructional technology curriculum consulting. I also do the digital academy stuff and a whole bunch of other silly things here around the office too. So really happy to be with you. And Jen, you want to?
Yes, welcome. I'm Jen Griffin. I'm the Regional Early Literacy Specialist with State Support Team 9. I'm excited to be back with you this year. And you may have noticed our friend Amanda Nickerson is not with us this year. She's actually shifted to a new position with ODE. So she is what is called a CLSD technical specialist. She provides some technical assistance to the comprehensive State Literacy Development Grant grantees through the Ohio's Plan to Raise Literacy Achievement. So she's working with districts from K to 12 around the state. So we're really excited for her. We're fortunate we still get to see her in some capacities, but we will absolutely miss her being with us this year. But we're super excited to welcome Erin to our team. So I will let her share a little bit about herself.
Hello, everyone. So I get to kind of step in where Amanda stepped out. I am new to the regional instructional coaching team this year. My name is Erin Class. I came from the classroom of 11 years, and this is my second year at State Support Team 9. I am the urban literacy specialist, so I directly support Canton City schools.
We wanted to walk around a couple different areas that we have for you, a couple reminders to get going. We have an online hub for you for all of your coaching needs. This can be found at bit.ly/StarkESC Coach Network. And I'll jump over just for those of you who may not have seen it previously. We have lots of good stuff on here, including all of our meeting dates for this year, which we'll talk about later. And then over in the playbook area, we have all of our notes, the slide decks for previous meetings. We also have like the most recent recordings, which if you haven't noticed, we're recording this right now. We basically chop out any of like the group discussion areas, and anytime we send you to breakout rooms, those are never recorded either. But this is just a nice way for people who may not be able to take this time during their lunch to stay connected to us. So we wanted to make that available to you. We have this playbook area with lots of really great links to some different places, and then some other wonderful places here around the web for things that we think might be of use for you. All right. So please make sure that you check that out. That's a place that we are updating frequently. Okay, here's our calendar for this year. Our first meeting is obviously today. We will meet you again in November and in January, and then on March 21st. Okay. If you're using this image, the one that we sent via email earlier this week, remember these links are going to change. So you could select those calendar little icons and it will update for you. The same thing with this this link down here, that will also change. So I'll make those changes here this afternoon, and then I'll share that out with you just so that way everybody has all the most recent information. For some of you, you may have gotten that direct email from me a little bit ago. Others, you may have gotten the email because you're a part of our Google group. If you are not a part of our Google group and you'd like to be, please let me know. Just send me an email or reply back to the one that you got from me, and we will make sure that you get included into our Google group. One of the things that's really nice about that group is you don't necessarily have to go to groups to be a part of it. You could just email where it says regional-coaching-network@apps.spark.org, and that will message all of the coaches that are in our network. And this is a great opportunity to ask questions or ask for help or ask for collaborators, or, you know, share your experiences, or, you know, ask for help with a really challenging case that you might be having. So please make sure that you're taking advantage of that, especially because we meet every other month. So don't hold on to something for 2 months just because you think that that might be the next time you get to talk. Let this be an ongoing thing. So please feel free to utilize that group as best as possible. Okay, we have several books here for our network as well. These are made available thanks to our friends from State Support Team 9. So if you don't have these texts and would like them, please let us know. We will make sure that these are sent out to you. These are the same books that we've been using for quite a few years now. And then we try to reference them in these meetings as well as other conversations that we're having with coaches and districts. Okay. One thing that we got into a little bit last year that we wanted to remind you of this year is that there are several places that you can find free available coursework. One is through ODE, which is soon to be DEW, right? By the next time we speak, it'll be DEW. Here's a link to some more of their information. And then know that we have a Google Classroom set up ready for you. If you're not a part of that Google Classroom and would like to be, we have 2 different courses right now, one on the impact cycle and one on better conversation. So please make sure that you're checking that out. And Natalie will pop that into the chat one more time for you, okay? All right, so for my section here, I wanted to talk a little bit about AI tips for coaches, and these are really just AI tips that are good for all teachers as well. A lot is changing very rapidly, so the things that we're talking about here today, may very well change tomorrow because some new tool or some new tip has come across to kind of change things up. What I wanted to do was share what I've been using as like my base presentation for all of this. So you should be able to click this image and it jumps out to a completely different slide deck. I'll ask one of the girls here if you wouldn't mind putting that into the chat too, just so that way you can click on it that way as well. But this is a fully baked, ready to go presentation that you are more than welcome to share with your district. I've been very fortunate enough to get into a lot of districts here to start the year to hear these messages. And it's just kind of a nice base presentation that has a little bit of everything on it, from like the whys of someone would want to use such a thing to some of the like pitfalls, some of the things that you want to look for as you may be using it, or your teachers may be using it, or your students may be using it, as well as a whole host of other like just fun applications of AI. All right, so what I do is I have really boiled down generative AI into 3 different areas. So 3 things that we can ask AI to do for us at this moment. The first of which is content generation. So, your educational materials, your summaries of larger articles, or news publications or whatever, you can take all of those, pop it into AI, ask it to summarize it for you in a set amount of words, and it'll do it. You can do presentations this way, and worksheets and quizzes and handouts and rubrics and all kinds of really wonderful things it can create for you. Now, the key to all of this is you or the teacher is the filter, right? I always like to think of AI as kind of a starting point. So by no means should you just copy what it produces and paste it, right? So all of this information, it's a starting point for you, passes through your teacher filter. You can add, you can replace, you can, substitute things and really personalize it for whatever setting you may be in. You can also do language support with AI. So you can do summaries or rewrites in multiple languages in like multiple formats. So you can ask to create specific like grade levels or summaries for different age groups as well. You can do vocabulary building and ask for writing suggestions and proofreading and a whole host of other things that are tied to language. And then one of the things that I like most is you can really personalize this to individual students to create that more personalized learning experience for them. The one caveat to that I will say is it's very easy to say something like, I'm writing an IEP for Matt and I need, I need 5 or 6 different benchmarks or something, right? That we don't want to include student names, we don't want to include student data, we don't want to include anything that's going to tie that information to a specific student or individual, okay? Once these items are put into the generative AI tools that we have, like BARD, like ChatGPT, that no longer becomes our property. A whole bunch of people have access to that data and information, and we don't want all of those people to know those things. So make sure that you're protecting your privacy and the data privacy of all of your students as well. Okay. One of the things that I'm seeing, and this is where you could really take your AI experience to the next level, is a lot of people are treating it like a glorified Google search. So I have a question, I'm just going to type whatever that question is into my AI friend, and whatever it produces today, I'm done. But the people who are really leveraging it well are treating it more like a conversation that you would have with a friend. So don't just ask it one question and be done. You can keep pulling and ask for more and ask for modifications or changes or whys to the things that are being produced for you to get even better results. So treat it more like a conversation, and you will get much better results as a product of that. So much so that you can even ask these AI tools to impersonate people. So as an example, I said like, hey, I really want to talk to Abraham Lincoln. Can you pretend to be Abraham Lincoln? And it was like, sure, I'm using old, language. I'm Abraham Lincoln now, one of those deals. And so I'm, asking questions like, what was life like then? Why did you choose to do X, Y, and Z? All these different things. And it is answering as if it were that person. So obviously that's a famous figure, but you can ask it to be, pretty much whoever you want. Know that the AI tools that are out there are capable of having bias, of saying really wild things. But again, you have your teacher filter, it's appropriate for your classroom, for your kids, or for you as the coach, what is being shared out. So make sure that you are passing it through that filter before sharing things with kids in that sense too. Okay. Primarily, there are 2, I would say like heavy hitters at the moment. The first of which is ChatGPT. That's over here on the right side of the screen. That's operated by a company called OpenAI. And then we also have BARD. BARD is Google's product. For the most part, it's John Jackson and Jack Johnson. It's pretty much the same thing. They can do basically the same tasks, but they just look a little bit different. What we're seeing though, and this was just released here, I think yesterday, BARD is now being baked in across all of the Google products. So if you are a Google district, you're going to see some of these pieces be implemented directly into the things that we know and love. So as you go to a Google search on your @gmail.com emails, if you have your own personal email, you should notice that you'll get a little pop-up that says Google search now is the power of BARD. Click here if you want to use it. And it's baked directly into the Google search, which is kind of fun. So you have all of those available. The other thing I wanted to do is just kind of provide some more information for you about these 2 different areas. And that's what these links underneath are for as well. Okay. Those are all well and good. We have all used those. I'm sure at least seen those. So I'm not going to take up your time, especially knowing that we kind of missed out there a little bit ago. But being adaptable is your greatest asset as a coach, as a classroom teacher. And these 3 areas, I think, really help you as you're trying to get to that new normal of what life life's going to be like here with AI as a part of it. Okay. And so again, for time's sake, I'm just going to skip on to our next one. And I wanted to give you some AI resources that I think can really help you as a coach as you're working with your classroom teachers. Okay, the first of which here is called Magic School AI. I am an ambassador for them now. It's a product that I saw and really liked, and so I wanted to do a little bit more with it. And so I decided to do their ambassador program. But basically, what Magic School does is it kind of takes all of the guesswork out of like, where do I begin with AI? Okay, so what they have done is created these like little apps you can think of that you can ask ChatGPT, you can ask Bard to do any one of these things that you want to. This is just helping kind of walk you through the steps to make the process a little bit easier so that you are really getting the things that you want, okay? So you can see things from like exemplar, non-exemplar, from assignment scaffolder, through like suggestion generators and YouTube video summarizers and all kinds of really crazy things. But the tool that really got me was this one over here. So this helps you to create an AI resistant assignment. So basically this is demonstrative of all of the different apps where it tells you basically what it can do for you, and then you just have to fill in the blanks. So, you don't have to think of crafting the perfect statement to get the thing out that you want. All you have to do then is, just follow along with the prompts. So here it wants to know the grade level, and then it needs to know an assignment description. You can be as descriptive as you want to be, and it will reflect that in its response. But even if you said something like math fractions, then it should generate some stuff for us. And so it's thinking through all of its stuff. And then we'll see some stuff be generated over here on the right here in just a moment too. But essentially, like I said, this is taking the guesswork out of it. The other nice thing that this has, and I'm not going to wait for it to produce that. The other nice thing that this has that others don't is it has its own like AI coach. So this is called Raina. And as you're working with Raina, this is helping you to like craft your AI prompts in a way that will get more out of it for you. So if you were to, put something in, it'll say basically like Rain will come in and be like, what if you changed this word, or if you changed it in this way, I wonder if you get better results. So I really like having that as a part of it as well. Like I said, just things that I haven't really seen elsewhere that I think there's a lot to love here with Magic School. Okay, the others I'm not going to click on, like I said, just for time's sake, but Futurepedia is a directory of all of the known AI tools that are out there currently. It's updated daily. It's really wonderful. I've spoken about Canva a lot in the past. They have baked so many AI tools into their product, including, which is pretty new here, including AI presenters. So like you type words and there's like an AI generated person who is actually like talking through all of the words, which is nice. So think about like tutorials for families or, for students. It's nice to see someone, talking you through, those instructions, or, reading a story even. Lots of really wonderful possibilities with that. There are 3 more on the bottom. The first of which is called Kui. This is meant specifically for English teachers, so feel free to check that out. It's just a fun way of manipulating and repurposing language. Question Well will allow you to create these big question banks that then you can put into like Google Forms, or if you're like a Kahoot user or whatever, it's creating all of that information for you. And then I wanted to give you something just in case like you don't even know where to start, or you have teachers who are still unsure. This is a video series here called AI 101 for Teachers that is created by ISTE and code.org and Khan Academy. They're just like interviews and questions with experts who kind of coach you through all of those too. So a really wonderful video series that's a part of that. Okay. Are there any questions about AI stuff, or is anyone seeing this being used or leveraged in classrooms just yet? Yeah, okay. So like I said, I've been making my way around quite a bit. The things that we talked about here, all of the kids know, they're figuring these things out, they're using them in a variety of different ways. But like I said, being adaptable and just kind of questioning everything that is coming in front of our kids and our staff members is an essential thing that needs to start happening now, right? So if you do have questions or if you need help with that AI stuff or anything else computer related that might be popping up for you, please by all means feel free to reach out and I'm more than happy to help you. All right, girls, time to talk coaching menu.
All right. Well, thanks, Matt. I always learn so much from you. And it helps me to see an area I'm not as strong in as an opportunity to grow, not things to be fearful of. So I appreciate that so much. Speaking of being adaptable, as we kind of shift a little bit, we know that not all of you are literacy coaches, but many of you are, or some part of your job is connected to coaching around literacy. So as this network started, it was really a focus on instructional coaching. Then as kind of we moved into pandemic mode, we welcomed some more peer coaches into our group. And now as this work has evolved, we kind of find ourselves fluctuating, kind of almost slinking a bit from, technical coaching to that instructional and peer coaching, where we're really focused on those intentional cycles. It's really personalized with one-to-one. To now this concept of student-focused coaching. And I know when I first saw this book and this title, I kind of had to have some dissonance with it. I was like, student-focused coaching, like that's a little overly simplified, right? That's what we do, right? But as I've gotten a little deeper into it, I really appreciate the understanding that it's brought to me, and I feel like it kind of helps us encompass some of the other things on the coaching menu. So again, I know that we can all see ourselves in each of these three areas. So kind of as we move forward this morning, I just wanted you to process where your role is fitting currently. A lot of the feedback that we got last year was, my role is shifting and continues to shift every year, sometimes within the year. So we really want to make sure that we're broadening this support for you and really making sure that we're going beyond instructional coaching to make sure we're hitting all of these areas for you. So if you were with us last year, you know that we had talked about the book Student Focused Coaching. So we gave you a bit of an introduction in May, but unbeknownst to us, this work has actually broadened a bit, and actually coaching networks across the state are really going to be engaging with this text. Okay. So if you are familiar at all or following any of the work that's happening under the new umbrella of Read Ohio, so Governor DeWine's literacy plan, you know that there are going to be Read Ohio coaches employed throughout the state. And this is actually the framework that they're going to be working through. So we're really excited that, we were kind of on target already with some of the things that are coming down the pipe. We're not going to take you, again, we have limited time. We're not going to take you through a book study per se, but really what we want to do is provide you the opportunity to engage with the text. So when you fill out your feedback form today, you're going to have the opportunity to say, yes, please send me a book. So you have access to a copy of the text to be used personally or within your district. And then to tell us what building you're in and where you want that sent to. So know that you will, again, have access to this. And we're really just going to pull some common threads, especially as we get to know some new friends in our network that could just really be beneficial to you personally. And then as you build capacity to support the teachers that you're working with. And again, from that systems level focus, that we continue to talk about how you really engage in conversations with your administrators as well. So that's kind of the lens that we're going to take this year. So Erin's going to just kind of give us, again, a brief, just going to kind of whet our appetite for what we're going to get into.
All right, so when I picked up this book, I was like, what is the difference between coaching and student-focused coaching? So student-focused coaching is cooperative. So this is a key term in all of this work. If your colleague is not cooperative, right, then coaching can't happen. It's not possible to coach somebody who is not cooperative. We also need to have professional relationships with each other. So coaching is all about the students, right? So it's not about making friends or having a good time. It's about student outcomes to enhance that student learning. And then it's also mutually engaged. So it's not us as coaches constantly telling our colleagues what they need to do or what they need to change. Because we as coaches have no power. It is not our jobs to supervise, it's our jobs to help to provide that professional learning in areas that teachers are seeking and working towards being better. There are also 4 goals of student-focused coaching. One of them obviously is to enhance that student learning. So we always need to focus on the needs of the students. The second one is maximizing every teacher's knowledge. So part of our job as student-focused coaching, we have 3 different roles that we can fall into, and we need to be able to respond to our colleagues in order to provide that instruction that each of our colleagues needs to maximize their knowledge. We can also learn from each other. So as a coach, we have to accept that we don't know everything. It's okay to say, I don't know. I need to tap into my other colleague to figure that out. Or I don't know, let's work through this together to see if we can figure out a plan to best serve our students. We also have to prevent those future problems from occurring. So as a coach, you have that bigger picture lens. You're on the balcony looking at all of your teachers. So you can see that, hey, first grade is going to run into this problem next year with these kindergartners coming up. So this is some professional learning that we're going to engage with now so that they know how to tackle this problem moving forward. Or same thing with 7th into 8th grade. Because as a coach, you're moving around the building, you're engaging with your teachers, so you know how to tackle those problems, or you know how to tackle those things before they become problems. But right, all of these goals need to be driven around student data, not what you think, not what you believe, not any frustrations or assumptions that are made. It's all based around that student data. So the 3 roles that as student-focused coach you have is facilitator, that collaborative problem solver, and that teacher and teacher learner. So these roles can be used at any time, and you might have to flex that role even within the same situation. There are 4 different types of colleagues that you might encounter and use these roles with. So there's that eager and open colleague. So that person that is ready for you to come in their classroom, ready to engage in some coaching cycles. And this is where you really want to capitalize all of your coaching time. And then there's also that eager, but a little bit resistant teacher. So they're willing to have that coaching conversation and they want to think about maybe changing their practices, but as soon as you walk away, they're not quite ready to change those practices yet. So you're going to want to continue to check in with those teachers, but you want to capitalize on those eager and open teachers. You're also going to have the reluctant teachers, but they're not resistant. So those are the teachers that are going to wait to see success from those eager and open teachers, and then they're going to start tapping into you. And then you're going to have the reluctant and the resistant teachers. So you just want to continue to check in with them and wait for them to be ready, because remember, coaching has to be cooperative. If it's not cooperative, it's not going to happen. So as a facilitator, you don't want to spend a ton of time here. Things that facilitators might be involved with would be like assisting with logistics, anything that would be helpful to make teaching easy. So helping them with curriculum, moving curriculum around, building your relationships, supporting the implementation of systems. So you might be more of a facilitator with that reluctant and resistant teacher, but you don't want to spend a ton of time in this role, because the most bang for your buck is in that collaborative problem solver role. And you're going to provide a lot of that targeted professional development and help your teachers solve those classroom-based problems, along with continuing to build relationships, and listening and conversing with them. You're also going to fall in that teacher-learner role. So you're going to continue to build your own knowledge and learn about those effective and proven strategies, and observe lessons and provide feedback. So observing lessons and providing feedback might feel like supervision, but there are subtle and important differences between coaching and supervision that we as coaches and our administrators need to know. So coaching is never ever about making those evaluative decisions. It's always about that targeted and professional development and feedback that you're giving your colleague. So again, it requires teachers to be cooperative. Supervision doesn't require that piece. Everybody is going to be going through OTES where everybody doesn't necessarily have to go through the coaching cycles. It's up to your teacher colleague. And then your administrators have to have specific training in OTES to deal with those evaluations. And as a coach, you don't have that training necessarily. Coaching is that voluntary peer-to-peer process. And it's as that voluntary peer-to-peer process with your relationship building, it helps build those two very important cornerstones that coaching revolves around, which is trust and confidentiality between supervision and that administrative piece.
All right, yeah, we are going to open it up. I have 3 different breakout rooms set to go. What we wanted to do was provide some conversation starters for you if you need them. So if there's something that is going on that you would like to bounce off of your fellow coaches, please by all means do that stuff up front. That should be the bulk of your time. But like I said, if you're searching for something to discuss, then these 5 different prompts might be a good place for you to start. So make sure that you have clicked on the slide deck before I send you off here to these rooms. That way you have those 5 prompts to work from just in case you need them. All right. Let's see, it's 11:43 at the moment. So I'm going to set our break time so that way we're going to run it up pretty close here to the end, and then we'll wrap it up in about 2 minutes. Okay. So I'm going to give you 15 minutes with your groups. Talk about those really pressing issues. If you need them, feel free to check out these 5 prompts. All right. All right. We will see you in 15 minutes.
I think we almost have everybody back now. So welcome back. We hope your networking time was valuable. Before we wrap up, we just wanted to offer you the opportunity to either unmute or share in the chat box. If you had any aha moments or any common challenges that you want to share any reflection on for the good of the group, you absolutely have a moment to do that. We know that sometimes, especially as coaches, we're not really good at sharing our own insights, but when we hear something from others, we of course are all coaches for a reason, right? We're good at equipping and empowering other people to do that. So if you caught something from somebody else that you think is beneficial to share, please feel free to do that. This is a challenge to my wait time as I see it switch to 12, and I know we're coming up on the end of our time together. So again, don't forget to use that Google Group feature that Matt has for us. Again, this is a network. We want to make sure that you have the support that you need from your colleagues across Region 9. As we conclude our time together today, we always appreciate your feedback and your input. This is also the place that will let us know if we can get those gym night books out to you or the student focused coaching. I said that. I've gotten tongue-tied on that a few times today. If we can get those out to you, we're happy to provide those for you. So on that feedback form is where you're going to share that information with us. So otherwise, it's just flipped to 12:01. We almost made it. But thank you for your time today, for your investment in your educators and your students. And we look forward to seeing you in November, I believe. Okay.
Yep. See everybody in November.
Take care.
Thanks for being here.